Did you see any of the Jets Patriots game as it was snowing?
Not
It,
really.
it like just started when the game had started, and the announcers were saying it's gonna snow a couple inches during the game, and they like weren't kidding. It just continuously kept getting more white and more white. You just couldn't see anything. Crazy.
Did it feel like it was just summing up Bill Belichick's end in New England?
You got to look up the video of him walking on the field at the very end of the game because he has like one of those masks that just cover up right here, and he's got his hood down, so it's like he's like literally a jaw wall, just like walking.
Guys, welcome back to the Schlabcast. Andy and Caleb here, back with our super wild card weekend game preview pick'em. We're gonna go through each of the wild card games this week, starting with the AFC. But first, Caleb, how are you doing?
I'm great, man. Was watching Michigan spank Washington early, but Washington kind of is coming back, so I put it on pause. We'll see how that's all turning out later. But I have like the tiniest amount of money on Michigan just outright, so I'm hoping they pull it out. But yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. I haven't got a chance to watch much of that game, but was hoping for a closer game. Looks like Jim Harbaugh is putting his stamp on that college ranks and might be making that jump. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
And of course, yes, if you guys are wondering, we are missing Hefe. He is away right now on vacation, so enjoying his vacation, but maybe a Texans Browns preview from Jeff. But for now, we're going to be jumping to the AFC wildcard games. We'll just start off with the first game, the morning game. So it looks like we
Heck
got
yeah.
Steelers visiting the Bills. So,
You have skipped an entire day. There is a Saturday game to be
oh,
played.
oh, you're right.
And Jeff had to, if anyone out there has had to fly and watch live sports before, it's no fun. And Jeff was flying during the Houston Texans week 18 game, and he landed as they were winning. So it was a nice, end of the flight for him. But he's got to do the same thing this upcoming week. But yeah, Saturday, we got the Browns, the what, 11-6 Browns? Is that what they are? 11
Something
and
like
6
that.
Browns. I mean, they sat a bunch of guys out last week, but Cincinnati is, I mean, they kicked the shit out of them. Anyway, traveling to Houston. It opened, I think, at 2.5. It has stayed there. Cleveland. So Cleveland is favored on the road, which is a little surprising. I think since we didn't see Flacco play this past week, it's just like, what was he like? But Stroud looked good. So I think that's going to be kind of close. I might actually take Houston. I got to get talked into it a little bit more, but kind of an interesting start to it all.
Did
Over
they?
under 44 points, too. So not like a terribly high scoring game, I don't think.
Okay, I wanted to just double check because I do remember they did play each other fairly recently. So that was Christmas Eve, and it was Browns at Texans again. Browns won 36 to 22.
Mm-hmm.
However, CJ Stroud was not playing. It was Davis
Yeah.
Mills.
Just a completely different game then with Stroud, and you know what I mean?
Absolutely. First of all, I can't believe I forgot about this game. Sorry, Jeff. But Browns, let's see. So they played the.
They played Cincinnati yesterday.
Oh, okay, that's right.
And I mean, they just sat a ton of guys, so you can't really, take too much from that game. But let me get to week 17 here. Week 17, Cleveland won, I believe, playing. It was the Thursday night game, so it's been a while. And they were hosting the Jets, and they won 37-20. Flacco had his like fourth or fifth 300-yard game at 309 yards. Joku
Okay.
was just out of, running rampant. That dude looks like a centaur. That was week
Okay.
17. Week
Okay.
16, they were at Houston. That was that Houston game.
And then I looked at it more in depth. That was the Houston game where Amari Cooper went off.
Okay,
The
yeah,
one
yeah.
11 catches, 265 yards, two touchdowns. That was that game.
Okay,
Okay.
geez, I forgot that was against Houston. Yeah, he just went absolutely to town. And then they just squeaked by the Bears before that. But Flacco, 374 yards. We're talking now about a month ago. So I think that game's going to be pretty close. The more I just kind of think and want to believe, I think Houston's got a really good chance here. If they had to go up to Cleveland and play outdoors and kind of in the elements and all that, much different story, but it's going to be a controlled environment. They're going to be able to sleep in their own beds, wake up in their own rooms, do their own traveling and whatnot. And correct me if I'm wrong, I heard this somewhere. Houston was the only team this year to have all 1 p.m. Eastern time games. They didn't have a single afternoon game. Every single one was in the morning for us, which is just kind of insane. Yeah, just getting no love. What are your thoughts on the game? I've talked a bunch.
Yeah, I agree with most of what you have to say. A few weeks ago, I really was like super high on the Browns. I even had them as far as the AFC Championship just because I was just riding Joe Flacco and I think their defense is elite. Texans, I really like what they're building. I like the culture. I know I say that a lot, but I really do think there's something to be said for the culture in that locker room right now. You could just see it in that last win against the Colts.
Yeah.
They're riding high and they're kind of just like willing to run through a brick wall for like D'Amico. You can just tell. I'm just going with the momentum right now. I do think the Browns are going to keep it super close. I think they will give CJ Stroud some troubles just because they would give anybody some troubles with that defense, but I'm going to give the slight edge because of the home field advantage to the Texans.
Man, I wish I was in Vegas or anywhere I could really bet on this because just get some extra points then that way too. DraftKings actually can get them three points, even get an extra half point there. Better than Vegas. So
For right now, I'm picking Texans. Where are you going?
I think I'm leaning Texans too. Yeah, I think man, both those teams are peaking at good times, I feel like. So probably take the over too. It's only 44.
Yeah, with Stroud and Flacco just airing it out, I could see
Yeah.
both going 300 yards. Who would have thought though, just like beginning of the year, it's going to be Texans and Browns we'd be talking about. For
Okay, it's the first time in like forever that the Patriots or Steelers weren't in the playoffs or something like that. Patriots, Steelers, and somebody else. But it is the first time I think ever that we've had Browns, Texans, and there was another team that was just been like always kind of terrible that or no, the Steelers are in this one. I forgot what I saw. There was something about how this is the first Browns, Texans, and somebody else of just like these happen to be known, seller teams that are back in it. But
I'm with you there on the Steelers. It's still kind of amazing how they made the playoffs.
it's only because the Ravens sat all those guys. If they were playing the Ravens, they had to, play Lamar because they needed to lock up division. They would have lost that game. They wouldn't be in.
That's true.
So they lucked out with the scheduling and just that Baltimore just went to town on the whole league the past 2 months.
We finished with the Texans Browns?
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay. Well, we could jump to the Steelers. It is just slightly out of order again.
Yeah, let's go to it.
We can just go to Steelers. They're the Sunday morning game. Steelers visiting the Bills. As we were saying, it's crazy, but kudos to Mike Tomlin really for being above 500 his entire head coaching career, holding up the ship with Mason Rudolph, Trubisky, Kenny Pickett. They are taking on I guess you could say a fairly hot Bills team. They just ride and die with Josh Allen, it seems like.
Yeah.
And you just got to ride those ups and downs. And they could be very low and then they could be very high, as we saw with that Dolphins game.
Man, they were sputtering for a bit there. I was getting nervous if I was a Bills fan. It looked like Miami was going to win that. And Miami just looks like a balloon, just the wheels are coming off for them too.
Sorry, did you already say the line for this game?
No. So it
For this
opened
one?
at Bills 9.5, but it's moved. It's now at 10.
Oh, wow.
And believe it or not, the over under, it opened at 42.5. It's now at 35.5.
Wow.
It went down. So I don't know why. Probably because TJ Watt is my guess, but over under went
That
just straight down.
that's
I
super
just don't
low.
know exactly why. 35.5 does not seem like that much,
Is
but
it
they're just probably banking on Pittsburgh not scoring that much because Buffalo money line is a 1-5 favorite, pretty heavy favorite. They're the biggest favorites this week. Let's just say that.
maybe perhaps some of the weather too?
Weather,
I know
uh,
Kansas City I know is going to be bad, but they said in
yeah,
the
game
tens.
game time weather. It's looking like 30 degrees and snow.
Yeah.
Man, did you see any of the Jets Patriots game as it was snowing?
Not
It,
really.
it like just started when the game had started, and the announcers were saying it's gonna snow a couple inches during the game, and they like weren't kidding. It just continuously kept getting more white and more white. You just couldn't see anything. Crazy.
Did it feel like it was just summing up Bill Belichick's end in New England?
You got to look up the video of him walking on the field at the very end of the game because he has like one of those masks that just cover up right here, and he's got his hood down, so it's like he's like literally a jawwad walking up to what's his face with the Jets, and he just
Oh,
shakes his hand and stuff, and just turns and then just waddles off the other way, and
yeah.
you just wouldn't even know it's him unless they were like following him obviously for a reason. You just can't see anything. I think you got to bring him back because who are you replacing him with? Is Harbaugh going there? Nah, no way.
I think he's done there.
You think he's done? All right. Do you think he's done coaching in general, or do you think they just cozy him in like a front office job or something? He can just at least.
I think he still wants to coach.
Where do you think he'd end up? You think he goes to LA, goes coaches the Chargers?
That's a question. I don't know where he's gonna go. There's like rumors they've been throwing around like Washington is really like trying to upsell like a lot. They signed Golden State Warriors ex-GM.
Classic business move by Washington to hire someone not within the sport.
Bob Myers or something like that.
Yeah.
They have that brand new owner, so it sounds like he just wants to make a splash move.
I mean, Draymond can come play middle linebacker for them. It'll probably be a little bit better on defense. I don't know what else he's going to do. He's going to just get kicked out of the league again. So why not? Washington will trade a 4th-round pick for him, not knowing. Just like, yeah, no, just give the Warriors our 4th
Yeah.
pick.
Yeah, seriously. They traded Montez Sweat this year to the Bears, and he led both teams in sacks this year.
I don't know if Belichick goes there because your agent approaches you and you're like, hey, all right, let me tell you something. It's really humid and it's Sam Howell.
They have like the number 2 draft pick.
They got number 2 pick, but I don't know if Belichick wants to sit around and, roll the dice with a brand new kid out of college who had a COVID year during one of his main developmental years, probably 2 of them. So I don't really believe in any of the quarterbacks right now.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, what you're saying when you put it that way. I think Belichick, though, what did they win? 3 games, if that? I just think he's got too much pride to just walk away like that, even
Yeah.
if it's just for a break. So I think he goes somewhere else. Time will tell. We're drifting a little way, but Steelers, Bills, do you have any other thoughts on that game?
Nah,
I
I think
guess
the Bills just beat the shit out of them. So
the weather will maybe make it a little bit interesting, but this should be the Bills to lose.
I agree.
You want to jump over to the next game?
So finally, it's actually the second game on Saturday. It's Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Miami Dolphins, who were just sitting pretty, hosting 2, maybe 3 playoff games until this past week. They just crumbled under it all. Not looking the exact same team wise, and there might have been some distractions, even with players' homes catching on fire, but opened at 3.5 for Kansas City. It has stayed there. Maybe Vegas just is overdoing it, but opened at 51.5 and has fallen to 43.5. So an even bigger drop. But Kansas City doesn't put up the points like they used to. I kind of want to take Miami. Don't feel that confident about the receivers and their ability to put up points anymore. Something's up with Travis Kelce. I don't know if it's just they scheme way better against him now and they haven't been able to wiggle him out into something new, or he's just lost a step, but he doesn't seem to be as much of a role player in the offense as he should be.
So this game was another one where this was a regular season game earlier, about 2 months ago, November 5th, they played each other, and it was Dolphins at Chiefs. Chiefs won 21-14. Looks like Achan didn't play for the Dolphins. Travis Kelce had 3 catches, 14 yards, so he was held in check.
19 degrees game time weather, just kind of cloudy weather, but 19. So, I mean, that affects everybody. I would think Tyreek's got a little bit more motivation. He wants to beat out his old team. Mostert, Achan, dual punch. I think that comes through. I think really comes down to Tua and the other receivers. Can they get it all together? Because the defense usually plays pretty well. They usually don't lose it except the Baltimore game. We can look past that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, they shut out the Jets a few weeks ago. They beat the absolute snot out of them.
I did want to mention that they did have a lot of losses on the defense though recently, and their edge rushers. So that's
Okay.
a little
Yeah,
concerning. They had Phillips and Bradley Chubb, and then Van Ginkel. He's pretty good too. But I'm not sure if Waddle is gonna be playing. He didn't play in last game.
I'm looking at the injury report, and he's just listed as questionable right now. The only ones that are out are Van Ginkel, Baker, and Good, but they're on IR. Kadarius Toney, questionable. Rashee Rice, questionable. Justin Ross, questionable. Not good. L'Jarius Sneed, questionable. Yeah, a lot of big names they need on Kansas City's side. Gun to my head, I think I'm taking Miami. I'm definitely taking the points because even if Kansas City just chips away a little, game winner field goal, I'm still going to win with Miami. So I would definitely take the points and kind of cross my fingers so they can just pull it out. I picked them last week to beat the Bills, and I think they could have. They had plenty of chances, but they just let slip away there. And pretty terrible play calling the last couple drives, too.
For me, the defensive losses concern me a lot. While I'm not high on the Chiefs at all, I still at home will give them the edge. So I'm gonna go with the Chiefs.
All right. Nice. There's our split. If that
All right.
happens, then I guess Miami travels to Baltimore. No, 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 no,
Let's
no.
see.
If my way goes, Miami travels to Baltimore, and then we have the Bills hosting the Texans, or it would just be chalked up and Houston going to Baltimore, Bills hosting the Chiefs, which Bills Chiefs I think would be a pretty good game. I think Baltimore would just kind of, do away with Houston probably in the end, but really good game if that would come that way. Anything else you want to add about it so far? You have what would be like the biggest upset for you, or like biggest storyline to come out of it, or just oh my god scenario?
I think it's just regardless who wins in that Browns Texans game, that game just intrigues me the most.
Okay.
I'll be happy for either one. Obviously, I'm rooting a little bit more for Jeff and his Texans, so I think it'd be awesome. Another rookie head coach and quarterback. They already clinched the division to get another playoff win on top of that. I think that's like really impressive. I don't know how many teams have done that, but I also am impressed with Flacco just in the storyline, just off the couch, takes them to the playoffs. So how about you?
I think if all the Steelers need is like kind of weird bounce of the ball or just a turnover at the right time, and if they keep it close going into the fourth quarter, the Bills might start panicking. So that might be the like, wow, this might come to fruition. Other than that, I think it will just go chalk. I don't see really too many upsets, but I don't know. Probably Dolphins, Chiefs are pretty close. Bills just kind of run away with it. I'm really looking forward to the Texans game. That's going to be so fun.
Yeah, same here. I know Jeff is.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Well, if you haven't checked it out already, you need to go see our NFC video too, because that's happening. There's a whole nother section of the actual side that's going to win the Super Bowl. I don't even know why we even talk about this side. It should just put the Niners and the Cowboys in the Super Bowl right now. It's two best teams. Anyway, you need to check that out too. For Jeff, who is just strumming a ukulele somewhere in Hawaii, I bet. I'm Caleb. We got Andy too, our master MC. And we'll catch you guys later on the Schlabcast. Go Cowboys.
Go Birds. Shaba.
Shaba.
Peace.